Greetings. I'm George Boston Rhymes with the Get To Free Press. And on December the 11th, 2021, I made a trip to Jennings, Florida. A mother and father was searching for justice in the death of their son, Antonio JAVAR WHETSTONE. And in Jennings, Florida, law enforcement, sheriff department, seems as if though there are major problems. It's been 16 years since law enforcement officer by the name of Boatwright tased this young man from 10 to 16 times, then emptied his weapon in the process of taking this black man's life. This has been 16 years ago. And I had the golden opportunity to record them at a church service, candlelight vigil, if you will. And I tell you that that little country church had an effect on me and took me back to my childhood days. But what got me the most was a death, or as the mother called it, a murder that took place in the little rural town of Jennings, Florida. Yet no 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, Dateline, HLN, MSNBC with Al Sharpton, no Atlanta Journal and Constitution, no Oprah or Tyler Perry, no mainstream news media have came into Jennings, Florida to assist this family in getting justice. I'm going to be posting more videos. I already put up 3. I'm going to be posting others. This is just a prelude into what I'm going to publish. I want Officer Bobby Boatwright's name to become a household word. I also want Antonio JAVAR WHETSTONE to become just as prevalent as any of the others that Black Lives Matter and other civil rights organizations, Ahmaud Arbery, have received here in the United States. Now, make no mistake about it, Antonio is no different from any other. Let me repeat. They are no different from many other black young men that have lost their life at the hands of law enforcement. But unlike Ahmaud Arbery or Brother Castillo and others, they did not get the white news media coverage. If you go to Sylvester, Georgia, there will be an overstreet that a deputy ran over. The coroner came to the scene and backed over him. And that was years ago when they called me over there. If you go to Waycross, you'll find more deaths that never reached 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, Dateline, or the Attorney Crump. But these families remain in pain with no news media to connect the dots of all these deaths, killings, or murder. Nathaniel Lee in Albany, the Roberson's case in Albany, Douglas or Coffee County, and that just to mention a few. I'm going to put others' name in the link of this video, and I want black people to understand these white folk who control, dominate, and own the news media do not have you in mind. They exclude news in the black community, and I have documented that over the years with the Get To Free Press under the name of George Boston Rhines. But when I was in Jennings and I watched that young lady break that case down for us, it amazes me how wherever I go, whatever city I go into, county or state, it mostly always, without exception, the black woman who's standing up in the gap for our children, our men and our women. It's a woman that's doing it. Black men, for some reason, I guess, they've been beat down so bad and for so long until right don't cross their mind anymore. They'll go to church, a mosque, synagogue, temple, and talk about the hereafter and quote scriptures better than Jesus. But when it comes down to getting on their ass and riding into the Jerusalem of dispensation to help these troubled communities, for the most part, they are nowhere to be found outside of the four walls of some said to be spiritual place of worship. And I'm not downing them because I used to be the same way. But one day on my ass, I fell as I traveled the Damascus Road. And I had to find the Damascus here in the state of Georgia and other states. And I said, never again will I listen to most of these black women, black mayors, black commissioners, black district attorneys, who these white folk, wicked white folk, not all white folk, these wicked white folk are attacking, even removing them from office after they are elected. And so I began to redirect my efforts from just paying tithes, giving in a benevolence offering and free will offering, and being in church all the time, and praying these long prayers that God must be sick of. I know God got to be sick of the prayers that we send up to him. We ask God to do all these things for us, and we are not willing to get on our ass and ride into the Damascus of Jennings, Florida. Refuse to get on our ass and ride into Madison, Florida with the Madison, Florida 9. Refuse to get on our ass and ride into Brooks County and Quitman and support the Quitman 10+2. Or Mayor Linda Harris that they ran out of office. Lied on her. And I could go all the way across the state of Georgia, but I'll stop it there. It served little need or little purpose of black people going to church, talking about the hereafter, and the streets paved with gold, breaking down the scriptures like you cannot read yourself, acting like you don't know nothing about God, treat you like little kindergarten students, and they condemn you in the church. But when it comes down, I don't mean the church, I'm talking all institutions of worship, I may add that. What good is your religion? I found out what good my religion was I was in. And I'm not going to call it a denomination because that's not my purpose. My purpose is to give you the truth and hope that one day you'll wake up out of the spell of the Leviathan like I did. You see, all of my shouting, speaking in tongues, falling down on the floor, raising and singing hymns, making long prayers and preaching outstanding sermons. But I couldn't stand up for the people that needed my help in this current world. I never attended city council meetings, never went to county commissioners meeting to see what was going on in my community that was affecting my people, my community, my state, nation, and world. But I played the game because they told me to play the game and that I would go to heaven after I die, although I live in hell while I'm here along with my children. Wouldn't stand up for nothing until the real Spirit of God fell upon me. And I said, no more will I be a coward proclaiming to be a friend of Jesus or a Christian in Christendom. I had to get up out of that foolishness. And I began to see why Jesus got on the back of an ass and rode into Jerusalem. You see, if you don't get on your ass and ride your independent ass into the troubles that are affecting human beings and other life sources, then you must be a devil yourself. I'm not condemning you. I'm not criticizing you. I'm talking about what I used to do. I'm talking about what I know. Most believers in God will talk a good game, but they won't stand up for nothing. You know what I say? Nothing. That's why most of your spiritual leaders, most of them don't stand up on nothing that would get their life threatened. Nothing that would cause them to lose their job or their rank if they're in the military. But when I fell on my way to the bus station, I committed myself to truly helping other people. And I'm not talking about just giving some money in church, because that's easy to do. But when you walk out into Jerusalem and you stand before President or King Pharaoh, King Cephas or King Pilate, and then they label you as a messenger. They label you as an outside agitator. They label you as a man that is not welcome in the community. They began to call you names like they called me in Gordon, Georgia. Yeah, they called me a name in Gordon, Georgia, because I went up there to help that black woman by the name of Mayor Ann Whipperloo. April the 5th, 2015. A group of whites called me a nigger. And of course I wasn't angry because I know what a nigger is. I studied nigger in Egypt, what the ancient word nigger meant. It means a spiritual being close to God. So they do me a great honor when they call me a nigger. So that don't offend me. Furthermore, I know that we are descendants of the Hebrews in the book. And once you find yourself, you will begin to love yourself and respect yourself and teach your children that they are not cursed, but they are blessed by the living God. For it is recorded in the volume of sacred law that God said he was married to the Ethiopians. Those are black folk. I'm not preaching white supremacy, nothing of the kind. But I am speaking the truth, and if you can condemn me on it, then call me and let's get in front of the camera. I don't want to debate with you because I only bait people on my level, but we can talk and discuss it. Now y'all have a nice day. And I say again as I close, when I was called to Jennings, it revitalized my spirit because I said I was going to give all this up. But I'm finding out more and more that fewer and fewer of our people are now even considering the civil rights struggle now. They all are afraid now. They won't even say boo. But My mind went back to Earl Evans, a police officer decades ago that was dating a white woman there in Quitman in Brooks County, Georgia. They shot him dead, put him in the police car and burned him up. No justice until this day. Nobody's even talking about it. I don't see where nobody published it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I put it out there years ago. Why, Bro Ryan? Because when you fall into the real spirit of Jesus, not that fake Jesus that will not let you get involved. You see, they got a fake Jesus out there, and they have a real Jesus. The fake Jesus won't let you get involved in nothing like this. The fake Jesus will let you go to church, pay your tithes and your offering, your free will offering, and raise money for the pastor's anniversary. Holler, hallelujah, hallelujah, throw your hands up. Ooh, I feel something. Yeah, sure you feel something, yeah. I feel something tingling in my foot. Sure you got something in your foot. Might be a thumbtack. But until you get the power to stand up against the devil, you can't find no prophet, no priest, no king that received a calling and that were chosen and elected of God run away from the devil. Jesus met the devil. Now, Jesus didn't run to the devil. He was led into the wilderness, and he was led up to confront the devil. No man in their right mind rush off and face their enemy without first counting up the cost. I'm retired military, and I know you have to apologize, and you need power in order to stand against Satan and Beelzebub, who's the master of the devil. So you got to know who you're going up against, and don't fight the wicked white folk and the Uncle Sambos that join with them, and the Aunt James who are black. They are just as blind. Well, in fact, they are more blind than Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder. And it leaves other ignorant black folks wondering who in hell they are. They get elected to sit in county commissioners or on the state representative level, and they forget they are black. They don't know your problems anymore. They duck you when they're in the company of the majority. But they are sellouts. And most everybody in the black community, we know all them black folk who are sellouts. If white people know them and use them, then we sure as heaven know them. That we don't strike out among them or against them, because we've always had sellout Negroes who masquerade in the uniform of whiteness, but go back in the black community and blend in with his black skin and kin. Then he come out again, put on his white robe. But I'm gonna say to you all, if you're black and you see these Uncle Toms, not Uncle Toms, these Uncle Sambos and these Aunt Janes, don't attack them, love them. But at your first opportunity, tell them who they are. Let them know that your eyes are not closed. Let them know that you are not a fool, and let them know that you know that they are against you in our struggle. Don't fake it, don't punk it, don't fix it. Speak up out of great love and help them save themselves. Because in the end, like all other black folk who sold out black folk, in the end, they lost. They lost their reputation. They lost their respect in their own families, and we know who they are. White folks use them, and then they cast them aside. And I want you all to know that not all white folk are bad folk. Not all black folk are good folk. And I'll close on this note, that white folk was fighting for me before I knew what the fight was all about. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Again, I want to thank those people that invited me to Jennings, Florida to cover that young man's death by a member of law enforcement by the name of Bobby Boatwright. And I'm hoping that one day the people in Quitman and Brooks County will stand up and go and get the police record. Get Crump to go into Quitman and dig up the files on Earl Evans. I think I got his name right. Nickname G.B.R. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And stop his crying out from the grave. Genesis 4:10, I think it is. Cain killed his brother Abel, and the blood was crying out from the grave. G.B.R. blood is crying out from the grave for justice. Antonio is crying out from the grave. Overstreet in Sylvester and Overstreet in Nichols, Georgia. Roberson in Waycross. Nathaniel Lee in Waycross. And others that I have gone to. Tried to help. I tried to connect the dots, and I sent all this information to major news media networks across this nation. But here again, they don't see black news as newsworthy. So they don't connect the dots. They ignore you because your spiritual leaders ignore you. You keep giving them your tithe money and your offering and walking with them. But the ones who are out here in the civil rights circle, this is why a lot of people who used to be in the civil rights circle, they done quit now. They say to hell with black folk. Let them go sit down with their pastors and their imams and their rabbis and their sheikhs who they give their money to, and they won't even come out when they get in trouble or need your help, or when their children need their help. They are nowhere to be found. So y'all call us within the circles of civil rights foolishness. But many of us are waking up now, and we are saying to hell with y'all, because y'all are saying to hell with us. Y'all keep going to where you're going and see if you end up in heaven or hell, and your children and grandchildren just may be going deeper in hell, because the fighters who stood up like Jesus did, outside of words and long prayers, they did the work of Jesus. Bye-bye, we gone.